Good morning, River of Life. Um, I am bringing your take five for today. I am the communications director. Oh, I think it just went live. Okay. Hi, River of Life. My name is Jessica Anderson, and I am bringing your take five today. I am the communications director here at River of Life, so I'm excited to speak to you guys for a little bit. This past week, as a staff, we watched and participated in the Global Leadership Summit. And the Global Leadership Summit is 2 days packed full of different speakers and teachers and pastors, and they all speak on leadership. And so they kind of bring a different aspect to it for each speaker. And we left feeling super inspired, and it was just really cool to hear from these just really cool speakers. There was one speaker that really stuck out to us as a staff, and me specifically. His name was Albert Tate, and he talked about the difference between a lesson and a test. And he kind of used this analogy. He was a really big deal speaker, so he had a ton of miles through Delta and actually hit his 1 millionth mile through Delta, which is obviously a big deal. So then he got upgraded to first class anytime he flew, and that was right before COVID. Now, fast forward to COVID, he kind of stopped flying. He didn't really speak anywhere, and he kind of traded in the miles and the Delta Sky Club for going to his son's soccer game, and he talked about how he would spend 2 hours a night at these. I don't know if it was soccer for football, but these practices, and he was like, "These kids have no idea what they're doing. Like, this is kind of a waste of time." He goes, "I could be speaking somewhere," but he related it to we think that that COVID was like a test, and yeah, I guess like we've all kind of looked at like COVID was the test, like how did we do during COVID? But he kind of framed it as COVID was actually the lesson. We learned so much through COVID. It's been 18 months of just constant learning and adapting and growing. And now that we're kind of hopefully going the opposite direction of COVID, this is like the test. We've learned so much in that past 18 months, and this is the test. And I know some of you guys may be thinking, what good came out of COVID? I'm right there along with you. I had to cancel my wedding. I canceled my honeymoon. We canceled our college graduation. All those got rescheduled, but they didn't look the same. Our both Cole and I's families didn't get to watch us graduate. We had to wear masks while we walked across the stage. We got married, but our guest count was half of what it could have been. So yeah, I'm right there along with you of what good came out of COVID. But it's such a cool perspective because we did, I feel like, learn so much through COVID, and I do believe that there is some good, and I feel like you have to really search at times for the good. The good that came out of COVID for me is I got to work from home for the first 18 months of my marriage with my husband. I feel like that's unheard of. You usually don't get to spend every waking moment with your spouse, especially when you first get married, but we got to, which was a huge blessing and something we'll never take for granted. We actually got to work more than we ever have before. We worked our 9 to 5, and then we would work at nights, and we got to do it, spend the whole day together because we got to work together, which is also unheard of. Through the result of that, we actually got to pay off our student loans a year into marriage and a year after graduation, which is also unheard of. So I feel like you have to sometimes really search for the good and just think of the things that have tested you, and things that you have learned, because now that we're going outside of like COVID, you really have to think of like this is the test now. I've learned so much through COVID. That was the lesson. What did I learn? And now I'm going to apply it for just these next few months. The speaker from the Global Leadership Summit really talked about how he thought that he was trading in those 2 hours of soccer games or football games to get upgraded to first class, but in reality, he was just learning like, well, I really got to trade in those sky miles to be with my family. He goes, I've never realized like how much I was missing, and I feel like you never really know what you're missing until it's gone. I don't know. So I just want to encourage you guys that to really look at COVID as being the lesson, and now we're being tested. So how are we reacting to everything that we just learned? And to know that it's all for a bigger purpose. In Colossians 3:1-2, it says, "Since then you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is, seated on the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things." I guess just be encouraged that there's a bigger purpose in all of this, to put your eyes on Christ, even through these hard times, as even the months to come of just the unknowns. And I know that I've had to turn off all notifications on my phone that come in through that just tell me about all the news that's happening. We don't watch the news anymore on TV, because I feel like when your mind is so crowded of different voices just speaking to you, of, oh, COVID's going to do this, COVID's going to do this, you're going to go back to the mask mandate, now there's mandatory vaccines. I think that it crowds your minds, and you lose focus on what the bigger purpose is. So maybe that's your encouragement today. Just turn off the media. I think that it is so easy to get overwhelmed, to just not see Christ through all the noise. And yeah, it can just be really, really difficult. So I just pray that you would set your eyes on Christ. You would see the bigger picture. You would really just reflect on everything that you learned through these last 18 months and apply it to now, instead of just going back to the busyness of life, and just keep thinking like, oh, this is our new normal. We're going to go back to the new normal. We're going to get back to the busyness. We've just had 18 months of rest, and maybe that's what we need to learn and apply into this next season of life. So I just pray that this blesses you, this speaks to you, and that you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, River of Life.